Over the years, there has not been a ton of PlayStation 1 content on Gaming Off the Grid. Doesn't mean we don't love the console, doesn't mean we don't love the generation, but Gen 5 is one of those generations in my mind, I liked it a lot more as a kid. Going back to some of this stuff is a little rough sometimes.
The good old PlayStation 1, one of the first consoles I ever played growing up, but then the PS2 came out, and I never really looked back because the PS2 was da bomb. But in 2023, we are occasionally firing up a PS1, and there are some good games that I still play in 2023.
I think we got some good picks here, so saddle up. 10 games we still play on the PlayStation 1 in 2023. Let's go.
The first game on our list is arguably one of the best PS1 games, and it's arguably one of the best games in the whole franchise. And that's Castlevania Symphony of the Night.
A gorgeous game. This game will forever stand the test of time. It will forever look amazing because it's just a 2D side-scrolling Metroidvania game. Didn't get into that weird, clunky 3D polygon space. I don't know anybody that's played Symphony of the Night and doesn't love it.
This game is beautiful. The music's amazing. The way it looks, it holds up. And I know people hate when I say that, but this generation doesn't hold up as well as other generations because of the 3D aspect. This game is beautiful. I love, like, when you're dashing, like, there's like a shadow effect. I don't even know what it's called, but it looks beautiful. It plays great.
I don't know what we can say about it that probably hasn't already been said 150,000 times or more on YouTube, but it's an amazing game.
I just freaking love it. I will always be playing this game, no matter what year it is.
Man, I wish Konami would go back and make another Castlevania like this. They probably won't.
This next game is so stupid, it's so ridiculous, it's so simple, and I had never heard of it till this year, and that's Loaded on the PS1. It's like a top-down run-and-gun co-op, just blow shit up. Everything is just over the top, there's blood going everywhere.
Co-op is where this really thrives. Top-down, kind of looking and opening up different rooms. It's pretty gory. It's not a lot of depth to it. You just run around and just destroy stuff, but every character's substantially different with the weapons that they have, which adds some replayability to the game.
It doesn't look the greatest, but that doesn't matter because you're just going around blowing things up, and it's just, if you want to play something that's stupid but fun, Loaded fits that.
Kind of reminds me a little bit if like you were playing co-op Smash TV, something like that. Not as good as Smash TV, but it is fun, and it's a joy to play co-op. We've been jamming on this game. Love it.
And it doesn't matter that it's stupid because it's just fun. And games are supposed to be fun, so...
A lot of really good shooters on the PlayStation 1. Gaia Seed. I don't own this game physically. It might have been a Japanese-only release. I think it maybe was, but we have it on the PS3 store, but it's a PS1 game.
This game is beautiful. This game is so much freaking fun. This game does get kind of tricky though because it throws you right in and it is hard as heck, and then the backgrounds make it so you don't know if you're looking at bullets or it's background textures.
Awesome shield system, which you definitely need in this game because it is hard as sin, but beautiful game. I haven't played all the shooters on the PS1, but this is one we have been going crazy on. We downloaded way back when the PS3 was getting ready to potentially close the store. We downloaded all these shooters and this game is fire.
If you like shooters or shmups and you haven't played Gaia Seed, highly recommend, or at least give it a try. It is just a blast to play.
Not getting out of a PlayStation 1 episode around here without talking about some light gun games. Time Crisis 1. There's multiple Time Crisis games. A lot of good light gun games in the PlayStation 1, but just Time Crisis. It's the OG. It's the tried and true. Not an arcade perfect port, but it's pretty dang good on the PS1.
When we fire up the PS1, we are going to be busting out the GunCon one and be playing some Time Crisis. It is your typical freaking Time Crisis light gun action. If you played Time Crisis, you know. It is just so much fun.
Honestly, the majority of the time we fire up our PS1, there's going to be a light gun game being played. So Time Crisis absolutely had to make our list.
This next game is also arguably one of the best PS1 games, and you could argue it's also one of the best in the series too. And that's the OG Metal Gear Solid.
If you played it back in the day, I think you know how groundbreaking the game was. It's just amazing. The cinematics, the cutscenes, just an amazing freaking time. And this game, when you go back to it in 2023, yes, it takes a little bit. It's like, the graphics aren't as good. His face looks like a punched in ball of clay. But once you get past that, it still is a true joy. Just a gem to play.
Metal Gear Solid it's just a staple of the PlayStation library.
It's timeless. It is so good. Would be awesome to see a full remake of this game, but for the meantime, the PlayStation 1 version, one of the best PlayStation 1 games ever made, and I still play it all the time.
We got another shmup on our list, Einhänder. Einhänder?
Bueller.
Don't know if I'm saying that one right either, but this game is beautiful. I just love shmups.
Einhänder is freaking phenomenal. It has gotten up there in price a little bit. We just play it on our PS1 Classic, modded, whatever. Don't tell anybody. But this game is fabulous. Awesome shooter. If I can get it physically, I will.
Einhänder is awesome. The music's great. I don't know what else to say. It's just a shmup that's done right on the PS1. It looks great. And this is like one of those that will hold up over time. So, Einhänder, badass.
A lot of good shooters on the PS1, but Einhänder has to be up there among some of the best.
We got another Lycan game on our list, but this one is a unique Lycan game. This one is, I've never played anything like this that's a Lycan game, and that's Elemental Gearbolt. We did a PS1 Lycan buying guide that we kind of dove deep into the game, so if you want to check that out, it'll be like right there. But Elemental Gearbolt is so unique, it's so badass. It kind of has like a slow pace to it.
The packaging for this game, for one, the case and everything is just unbelievable. It's one of the most expensive games I have in my collection. Very unique. A lot of light gun games don't have a lot of depth. You're just shooting shit on the screen, right? And that's where the difficulty comes in. But in this game, there's RPG elements involved, which is very, very unique. I can't think of another light gun game that offers what Elemental Gearbolt does.
It's really weird, really unique, but it's a Lycan game. Elemental Gearbolt, one of the most expensive games on our list.
It is a new game to me. First time I played it, I think was in 2021 or 2022, and was freaking mind blown. We were doing some research for, some light gun game to play on PS1, and this game just rose to the top of our list that we were looking for, and I got it. Got a decent deal on it, but I did pay a little bit. But it's a fantastic freaking game if you can find a way to play it. Elemental Gearbolt, amazing light gun game on the PlayStation 1.
This next game you can play everywhere, anywhere, arcade, whatever console, NFL Blitz, arcade sports.
I play this game at work with my coworkers, like on Fridays after everybody's going home, we get in games of NFL Blitz on the PS1. I played in the game room with Robert, NFL Blitz on the PlayStation 1. It's on N64, it's on Dreamcast, it's in the arcades. I don't know if it's the best way to play it on the PS1, but I just like playing this game on the PS1.
This game is just NFL Blitz. If you like arcade sports, you know what I'm talking about. Straightforward, there's rubber banding, it keeps it close no matter if you're good or bad. It's NFL Blitz. It's awesome.
Holy cow, third spaceship shooter on this list, and for me, this is my favorite one on the console. I don't think it's fundamentally the best one on the console, but I just love this series, top to bottom. R-Type Delta.
This game is so cool, and I love the R-Type games because there's like a pacing to them. Like, they feel slow, but they're not. And then you're like, well, if it feels slow, is it easy? It is not easy. This game is hard. This game will kick your freaking ass. You have to learn, like when a boss comes in, oh, I go down and around. It is tough. There's different power-ups. The music's great.
The cutscenes in between levels kind of arc around like a little bit of a 3D space, but this is still kind of traditional R-Type side-scrolling. Amazing boss fights that are going to take you time and time and time and time again to figure out how to beat them. You gotta learn the patterns, you gotta live the patterns. R-Type Delta is freaking amazing on the PlayStation 1.
The last game on our list is Strider 2. And it's kind of a two for Sutherland. You get two games in one. When you get this game, CIB, it comes with 2 discs. Strider 2 and the first Strider.
It's a 2.5D take on Strider. It's one of those PlayStation 1 games that will always look good, I feel like. It just looks great. Most of the game is two-dimensional, but like when you kind of are in between things, you kind of get a rounding effect and things like that. So it's 2.5D.
This is a late release, so it looks freaking great. It pushes the PS1 to its limits. It adds climbing abilities. It kind of like, if you ever played Ninja Gaiden, like the wall climbing and stuff like that, it's kind of similar to that. Strider 2 is amazing, and if you get it, you get Strider 1.
Strider 2 is only one player. But the first Strider is 2-player, and it's turn-based. You just take turns and whatever. But an awesome value, an amazing game. It's a lot easier, I feel like, than the original Strider. Maybe that's why I like it. I don't know.
We have ours on the PS3 store, so if you want to go that route, it's probably a lot cheaper.
On the PS3 download, though, it is worth noting When you launch the game, it launches on the original Strider. Not super intuitive of how to get to Strider 2, so you have to hit the PlayStation home button on the controller, and then you have to hit reset game, and then it lets you select disc 2. There's an option where it says like disc 1, you can't do anything. It's like grayed out. You have to reset the game, move to disc 2. Took us a while to figure that out, so we figured we'd pass the info along, but that's neither here nor there. Strider 2, any way you can play it. We don't have the physical copy. We just played on our PS3.
If you haven't played Strider 2, it is phenomenal. If you played the first one or in the arcade, you'll feel right at home just a little bit more. It looks great. Highly, highly recommend Strider 2.
Didn't make our list, but a couple honorable mentions because these are two of my favorite PlayStation 1 games of all time. I'm just not currently playing them, but I just wanted to bring up Driver 2 because it was just mind-blowing to me when it came out. It became less mind-blowing going back after the GTA 3, Vice City, so on and so forth came out, but gosh, when you could get out of your car in Driver 2, that was such a big freaking deal. And other than Elemental Gearbolt, which has RPG elements, we didn't have any RPGs on our list, and that might offend some people, but that's not what we're playing. We don't have time to play RPGs currently. We have a freaking YouTube channel, and an eBay store, and full-time jobs, so currently we're not playing a lot of RPGs, but PS1 is so full of amazing RPGs, and my favorite happens to be Parasite Eve, so I didn't want to get out of a PS1 episode and not talk about my love for that game. Horror Elements are an awesome RPG game, my favorite on the console. I'm sure there's tons of people who have games that are RPGs that they like more than Parasite Eve, but for me, that game just always resonated with me.
I have an honorable mention that I want to add. I grew up playing this game a ton, but I don't really play it as much anymore, and it does look terrible nowadays, and that's Jedi Power Battles. This was great back in the day, co-op, especially if you were a Star Wars fan. It's kind of rough going back to, but it's still fun if you never played it and you like Star Wars.
That's what we're doing on the PlayStation 1, and there was a couple honorable mentions there. In the comment section below, do you ever fire up your PlayStation 1? How do you play the games? What games are you playing in 2023? We would love to hear it. We appreciate you tuning in, subscribing to the channel. PlayStation 1 love and hype alive and well in 2023. We'll see you next time right here on the one and only Gaming Off the Grid.